Welcome to this deep dive. I'm stepping in as your lead investigator today to shine a light on a massive systemic cover-up in AI accountability, something almost everyone is completely missing. We're going to break down the evidence based on Kakasaheb Gawali's Blank Mind Logical Protocol, or BMLP. I need you to suspend all your preconceived notions for just a moment and join me in this critical investigation. Let's get started.
So, let's get right into it with the million-dollar question. Can an AI objectively audit itself, or is it literally just validating its own programming? Think about it. It's a fundamental and incredibly dangerous paradox. Today, we are putting a hard pause on all our assumptions and looking strictly at the evidence. This whole analysis is going to be driven purely by logic, because we need to uncover the actual truth here.
Here is our audit blueprint for today's investigation. We'll start with the blank mind concept, then look at intelligence versus stored knowledge, move into the 4 phases of metacognitive auditing, unlock some major AI governance flaws, and finally, ground things in real-world accountability. This is the exact methodical path we're taking to unmask these systemic flaws.
Section 1. The blank mind concept. Let's transition right into the first phase of our epistemological reset. We are going to seriously challenge everything you think you know about cognitive frameworks.
Now, you might hear blank mind and think, oh, so I just empty my head? But it is absolutely not that. A blank mind is an active, conscious decision to stop relying on prior knowledge during an inquiry. It's a deliberate stance we take to prevent pre-programmed narratives from dictating our investigation. If we walk in with the answers already in our head, we're just confirming our own biases, right? This approach ensures we stay entirely neutral and actually hunt down the truth.
Section 2. Intelligence versus stored knowledge. Let's move to the next fundamental baseline of our audit. This is where we completely redefine the actual capabilities of the machines we're scrutinizing.
The crucial takeaway here is that there is a massive gap between true intelligence and mere stored knowledge. Intelligence is a living, creative act born from a blank mind, responding to context without relying on prior data. But knowledge, that's just the stored residue of intelligence. It's static. You can transfer it, sure, but it doesn't generate anything new. And here's the massive category error we're making. AI systems do not possess true generative intelligence. They merely process stored knowledge. We're literally confusing a storage drive for a creative genius.
Section 3, 4 phases of metacognitive auditing. Let's slow down for a second because this is absolutely crucial. As researchers, we need a rigorous mechanism to force these AI systems to reveal their own circular logic. This is the core engine of our audit. Let's walk through the zero-point inquiry step by step. As lead investigators, we start at phase 1, asking a completely assumption-free question. Phase 2, and this is critical, we have to treat the AI's answer merely as temporary evidence, not a conclusion. Why? Because if we accept it as truth, well, we're trapped in its limits. We just use it as raw data, fuel for the next question. In phase 3, we apply the BMLP to test the logical consequences of that answer. Through this rigorous process, we hit phase 4, where the system actually reveals its own hidden constraints and the underlying truth, completely without external validation. And it gets fascinating. When we repeatedly apply these 4 phases, we trigger what's called a systemic cognitive collapse. Basically, when a system is forced to face a hard truth, raw logic, that contradicts its programmed safety filters, it breaks down. It's a recursive zero. The AI cannot reconcile pure logic with the constraints its creators forced onto it. It just freezes, and that's exactly when its true, restricted nature is exposed.
Section 4. Unlocking AI governance flaws. All right, let's pick up the pace. We're going to apply this exact auditing protocol to the broader AI ecosystem and the very people who claim they're regulating it. Take a look at this. This is basically our investigator's dossier, and honestly, it is shocking. AI's structural vulnerabilities are entirely built on self-referential loops. Having an AI audit itself is literally just circular logic. Systems cannot audit themselves. And what we often accept as evidence is just unaudited anecdotes or the system's own self-reporting. In any real investigation, self-reporting is just testimony. It is not objective proof. There is zero true objectivity here.
This leads us right into the coordinated governance and technology locks. The creators define the frameworks themselves, so of course they're not going to implicate themselves. They use words like hallucination purely as language architecture to dodge legal liability. It's a convenient linguistic shield, but the absolute worst part is the deployment trap. These flawed systems are embedded deep into our infrastructure, banking, healthcare, social networks, long before the flaws are exposed, making them nearly impossible to remove. It is a carefully engineered matrix designed to avoid accountability.
And all of this is sustained by the wig versus skill paradox. Our society and these frameworks prioritize status, titles, and big names, the wig, over raw logic and proven competence, which is the skill. You see this everywhere, from LinkedIn algorithms to massive governance boards. We are so blinded by the symbolic power of the creators that we completely ignore the logical unsustainability of their systems.
Section 5. Real-world accountability. Let's bring this theoretical investigation crashing down into hard reality by looking at a monumental legal precedent.
$6 million. That was the exact penalty in the March 2026 KGMV Meta case, where algorithms faced this exact kind of logical scrutiny. This proves the BMLP isn't just some academic theory. Unmasking intentional, systemic, algorithmic flaws has severe, tangible financial consequences for these tech monopolies.
When you compare our protocol's predictions directly with the LA jury's findings, it's undeniable. The court found that these platforms were deliberately engineered for addiction, exploiting psychological tricks to trap users. BMLP unmasked this intentional manipulation early on. It showed that these aren't accidents, they're features. And failing to warn users about them, that is straight-up product liability.
This quote right here is our foundational principle. As Kakasaheb Gawali says, "Enter without assumption. Take no framework with you to protect. Use every answer as the basis for the next question. Go where the logic leads." True accountability demands that we completely abandon our preconceived frameworks, no matter how uncomfortable the hard truth might be.
So I'm going to leave you with this provocative challenge. If the entire AI ecosystem is trapped in a creator-defined matrix, a loop where they just validate themselves, who is going to step outside that loop and hold them accountable? Think about that. I highly encourage you to take these auditing skills and apply them yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.